Indeed. Happy Thursday evening, everybody. It is 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're here. We're going to have a sports talk right here. We're mainly going to talk basketball. We have two main stories to talk about, the NBA Finals. We do have a more sombering, but more of a tribute type of, where obviously you guys know I'm talking about the late Jerry West, who passed away yesterday, the age of 86. A true pioneer of the basketball game, a great on the court player, and a great executive in the front office. So we got that. It's the main thing we had in store. We'll talk about a few little things at the end, but we're mainly going to talk about basketball in this case. We're also going to talk a little bit about, we're going to look a little bit at the mock drafts and see what's going down there. But yes, man. That being said, though, let's start off with Jerry West before we get into it, shall we? As you can see right there, we got both channels. This is on both the Hardcore Sports Network and Nicky Steez channel. I'll drop the link to both channels in the chat right there. Make sure you hit both them up. And then once we do that, we're going to have a little tribute to Jerry Russ. Matter of fact, I even did a little tribute picture video a little bit ago. I uploaded on YouTube. I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'm going to share the screen with you guys about Jerry West himself and some of the great accomplishments he pulled off both as a player and as a front office executive. Then we'll break down the NBA Finals and talk about the draft a little bit. First, we're going to start off. Here's the link to my channel for those of you guys that haven't seen it. There you go. That's where you can hit me up on my channel. You can come drop a like to the stream on my side. And then for, of course, the Hardcore Sports Network, I'm going to drop the link to that one in a second. You can hit this up there. Drop a link to the channel so you can check it out on that side. Drop a like to support it there. And we're going to get into this thing. I'm going to share the screen with you. A little picture tribute I put together dedicated to Jerry West. So let's get to it. One second. Once it's ready, we're going to share the screen with you guys. Give me a second. I'm going to share the screen with you guys. So you can see it. It's going to be a little picture tribute to the late Jerry West. And then we're going to talk a little bit about his legacy in just a second. It's only touching that I decide to put the NBA logo of Mr. Jerry West as the last picture there in honor of him, the great player and great front office executive with the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, and even with the Clippers. He played a role in the Kawhi Leonard steal, which was one of the last great feats he pulled off as a front office executive. But man, he did a ton during his time. The draft day trade with Kobe. And that's the thing. We got to remember, Jerry West was great both as a player as an executive, which is phenomenal. As a player, 14 seasons, 14-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, one final MVP award, and he's the only player to win a Finals MVP on the losing team. And shout out to Blaze Radio, who brought that up last night on the Pick and Roll podcast, because I wasn't there for it, but I got to watch this morning, and he brought that up. And a great thing about Blaze is he was actually on location at Grand Street Park basketball court where Jerry West first started playing basketball near West Virginia as a youngster. And now that's a real popular destination in the area. So that was awesome right there. Shout out to Blaze for doing that last night and bringing that to light about Jerry West. And so he drafted Klay Thompson, Draymond Green during his time with the Warriors, during the time with the Lakers, the Jacoby draft day trade, the Shaq free agent signing, helped put those two together. And yeah, that's phenomenal. Both great player and great executive. And I don't know if anyone can ever truly duplicate that, because it's ironic. It was brought up last night too on the Pick and Roll that between Coach Ed, Blaze, and guys, they were talking about that Jerry West at one point was considering surrendering the NBA logo to Michael Jordan, basically saying, hey, if you want to change the NBA logo to Jordan, go ahead and do so, because of his popularity at the time. Obviously, that didn't happen, but here's the thing, though, that becomes the light, though. Jerry West, unlike Michael Jordan, was great in the front office, and that's no disrespect to Michael Jordan at all. It's just pointing out that Jerry West was just great at everything basketball related he did, and that truly made him a one of a kind. But yeah, and he plays a huge role in NBA history. The Lakers rise as an empire in the basketball world in the early years alongside Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor. And then, of course, as a front office executive with the guys like Magic Johnsons, the James Worthys, Kobe, Shaq, and then even played a role in this Golden State Warriors dynasty. And he also signed Kevin Durant in free agency, which we know is unpopular amongst fans, but from an executive standpoint, amazing. Even late into his later years, he still was in touch with the times as a basketball mind and still knew how to put together a great team, man. So, and Jerry West, just a true one of a kind. All I can say is rest in peace to the late Jerry West. Thank you for your contributions to the game of basketball. Another basketball legend gone into the afterlife shortly after Bill Walton. So rest in peace, Jerry West and Bill Walton. I felt that was a fitting tribute there. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA Finals. As you guys know, last night, the Boston Celtics took a 3-0 lead in the Finals. They beat the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Even when we thought that finally the Mavs had that momentum, they finally had home court. We're like, okay, this is where they can turn it around and win a game. And it was an interesting game 3, though, but obviously that didn't happen. Now, why was game 3 interesting? You had first the Celtics were up nearly 20 points at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth. It looked like it was over then. But then all of a sudden the Mavs went on this huge run, made it close, but just as we were getting close toward the end, I feel you got to see your division rival, the Boogeyman, once again, win another championship, because even though it's not official at this point, which I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, 3-0 deficit's hard to come back from. But man, just as the Mavs were going to make their comeback, they were just on the verge. Then Luka fouls out, so he was a non-factor in those final minutes, which could have made the difference there and could have helped the Mavs win that game and pull off the comeback and make it a 2-1 series instead of being down 3-0. Because it's pretty much all but over. Because now, is it possible? Because there's no team that's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit that I know. Definitely not in the NBA Finals. And even if it does happen, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime feat. And that was funny. We were last night on the MK Lounge, we were joking. Me, Coach Jed, Randy, and Mitch were there. And Randy was joking. It would be a Luka thing to do to be the first to come back from 3-0 in the finals, which could it happen? Technically, it could. Hey, LeBron was the first to do it from a 3-1 deficit. Luka could be the first to do it from a 3-0 deficit, which would be funny. But at the same time, we got to be realistic. It's the odds of it happening are unlikely. Even if realistically the Mavs could win 2 straight, but or even 3, as we saw last year with Boston and Miami in the conference finals. But to win 4 straight after being down 3-0, the odds of it happening are slim to none. I mean, you could ask Boston Celtics from last year about that one. So this series is pretty much, to me, it's pretty much all been over. But let's get into the series itself. One of the main things that stood out to me, the main thing is 2 things. Free throw 3-point percentage in favor of the Celtics throughout the 3 games, and Boston has the better roster. It's clearly evident. We take a look. Let's look at the rosters as a whole. You got Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, who was out for Game 3, but he was still relevant. He was still a factor in the first 2 games. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, even Al Horford, even in his twilight years, is still a formidable role player. Is still a respectable role player and can still help out. But meanwhile, you look at the Mavs, their main players, you got Luka, Kyrie, the best backcourt in the NBA currently. Then you got PJ Washington, who's been a solid role player. But outside of that, you got Maxi Kleber, who hasn't been showing up this series. Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been MIA. He's been on the court physically, but he hasn't done anything to help that team. I mean, it's been a complete disappointment. Yet Derek Lively, he was MIA in games 1 and 2. He had a decent performance last night, but he was nowhere to be found in the first 2 games, which I'll start to show the statistics. We'll go through the statistics in a second. But they haven't done anything. And that's the big thing right there. You look at it, the depth. Clearly, the Mavs don't have any depth. They don't have any help beside Luka, Kyrie, and PJ Washington. It's ironic because I said PJ Washington could be the X factor, but obviously that's not the case because where's the rest of the team? Where's Derek Lively? Where's Maxi Kleber? Where's Tim Hardaway Jr.? Where are these guys? They're not helping out. And I'm going to prove it right now. We're going to go through the Mavericks roster. We're going to look at some of these role players that are supposed to be helping out, and we're going to look at their stats and see that these guys have been a non-factor in these finals thus far. Let's go through it. We're going to start Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been useless in this finals for the Mavs. Absolutely useless. So he only played 2 games. And in those 2 games, game 1, 0 points. Game 3, 0 points. And look, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. So in 2 games of action, he's combined 3 rebounds, 1 steal. Yeah. That's telling you right there. That's part of the problem right there. MIA. Now, second, we're going to go back. Let's take a look. See how Maxi Kleber's been doing. Let's actually look at it. Let's actually look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Maxi Kleber, 3 games. See, 3 combined rebounds, only 1 combined assist, 1 combined block, 6 combined personal fouls, 2 combined points in 3 games. Non-factor. Josh Green. Why not? Why not? Let's just take a look at Josh Green more. Right. Let's see what he's up with. In the 2 games he's played, he's had a combined 7 points, combined 1 steal, combined 2 assists, and 4 rebounds, and 4 personal fouls. Give it a second. I think you guys get the point. Clearly, there's no depth on the Mavs, right? Let's take a look at the Boston Celtics role players and see how they're doing in comparison through the series thus far. Just to drive home the point. and then we'll move on and talk a little bit about something else. All right, let's go. Drew Holiday, former Sixer himself, man. Missed when we had a presence like Drew Holiday on our team, but let's take a look. Let's see. He had game 1, 8 boards, 5 assists, a steal, 12 points. Okay, solid performance for a role player. 11 boards, 3 assists, 1 block, 26 points. And then last night, 5 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 9 points. Okay, respectable performance in those in 3 games through 3 games. Let's take a look at some other role players. Let's take a look at Al Horford. Old, but still a respectable role player. Let's take a look. Al Horford in his 3 games. Oh, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 10 points in game 1. Okay. Game 2, 7 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 5 points. Cool, all right. And then last night, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 8 points. All right. Those respectable numbers for a 38-year-old. I mean, yeah, you see, you get the point. I don't really think I need to go further. I painted enough of a picture. It's clearly obvious Boston has more depth, and that's the main factor in this series. And you saw, and last night, Luka did his best he could along with Kyrie, but even then, Luka trying to carry this team fouled out. He fouled out, and you clearly see him trying to carry this team. It's not enough. They need more, and it's not working in their favor. And now you got to come back from a 3-0 deficit and win 4 games. I don't see it happening. Even if the Mavs manage to win 1, maybe 2, it's pretty much series over. I can see the Boston Celtics hoisting up another NBA Finals and a Bill Russell trophy, which is fitting for their point of view. But for the rest of us, it's not really something we're looking forward to. It's not. So, I mean, hey, Boston Celtics, hey, if they win it, I'll just say in advance, congrats to the Boston Celtics. Salute to the championship pedigree of Billy King for that trade he pulled off years ago as the Nets GM. Oh, Billy King, there's another name from the Sixers past that haunts us. But on a serious note, though, yeah, Celtics got their number. I just think it's only a matter of time before they win this series. It would be something special if the Mavs could pull off the comeback, pull that once-in-a-lifetime feat off of coming back from 3-0 deficit in the finals. Could it still happen? Oh, it could still happen, always. But I just don't know if it's going to happen, man. I don't know, but we'll ultimately see what happens there, though. But yes, but we'll just leave it at that. We'll ultimately have to see if the Celtics put it away Saturday or not. But now, Smith, once we get past the finals, whatever that may be, we're going to reach the 2024 NBA draft. Now, we could do another stream down the line. I'm going to do a mock draft here, but we're just going to keep it a kind of minimum. We're just going to kind of look around, see if there's a mock draft, just take a look at what the experts or the so-called experts have to say. Let's start by taking a look at who's picking in what order. Then we'll take a look at a mock draft for NBA.com just to kind of get a rough idea. Consider this a preview of another stream I'm going to have coming where we're going to do a mock draft. Although I don't have a date and time yet, but it's in the works. Let's take a look. We got first round as of today. Got Hawks picking first, Wizards second, Rockets third, a pick they acquired from the Nets a few years back. Spurs fourth, Pistons fifth, which that's a bit terrible luck right there. I know Crispy Flakes is not happy about that. You got Hornets 6, Trailblazers 7, Spurs 8, a pick they got from the Raptors. And I'm not picking on Crispy Flakes. I'm just saying. He just comes to mind because he's a popular Pistons YouTuber. That's all. But moving on. Grizzlies 9th, 10th the Jazz, Bulls 11th, OKC Thunder, a pick they got from the Rockets a few years back. Thunder just keep having those first round picks, man. Sacramento Kings 13, Blazers 14, Heat 15. And you get, 16 Sixers, Lakers 17. Sixers, they'll pick 16th. Something we'll keep in mind. But in the meantime, but yeah, I mean, we'll just go through it one more time. All right, well, we'll go through it. You got 16 like acre, 19 Raptors. You got Cavs 20, 21 Pelicans, 22 Bucks, 22 Suns, 23 Bucks, Knicks back-to-back 24 and 25, 26 Wizards, Timberwolves 27, 28 Nuggets, Jazz 29, and Celtics 30. As of today, of course, that could all change. There could be trades up, trades down. Let's take a look. We're going to see if we got a mock draft, but okay then. This is a mock draft board, but we don't see anyone doing anything with it. All right, I'll have to find another mock draft from a popular source just to see. We're just going to take a look at what's likely. It's believed as of now that Alex Starr will be the center, will be going to the Atlanta Hawks. And on paper, that seems like the possible place for him to go because, after all, he is a big man. The Hawks do need a big man, so it's possible. But we're gonna take a look at this mock draft real quickly. Right, so this is a recent mock draft. Most common picks. The Hawks, most people have it. This is what's commonly come up in most people's mock drafts. Most people have either Zachary Richter, right? Sorry, let me try to get Zachary Rishisher and Alex Starr coming head to head, who most people have gone to the Hawks. Then most people have Alexandre Sarr going to the Wizards. Then Reed Shepard, Nikola Topic to the Spurs, Shepard to the Rockets, then to the Pistons. They got Mateus Bulzils. Hornets, you got Stephen Castle. Trailblazers, Donovan Killigan. You got the Spurs, Nicky Topic. And then you got Grizzlies, Dalton Nick going to the Grizzlies. The Jazz, a lot of people have either Robert Dillingham, Ron Hollins, or Cody Williams. Ron Hollins also a popular pick for people to go to the Bulls. It was commonly saying Cody Williams to the Thunder with the Rockets pick. The Kings, either Devin Carter or Jacoby Walter. The Blazers, either Ron Hollins, Kelly Ware. But those are what's going on most commonly through the mock drafts. But we're not, if you were expecting me to go further into it, this one, I apologize. I'm not, because this one we're going to keep around 30 minutes. Well, I'm going to go more in depth with a mock draft at a later stream right there, where I'll share some mock drafts. I'll even do a few mock drafts myself at a later date. But this one, we're closing up on about 5 minutes here. I only planned on going a half hour. So I won't get too in depth. We're just saying Alex Sarr is expected to go number one, most likely the Hawks. He's been one of the top prospects, but there have been some rumors suggesting he may not go. But time will tell. I think, but there's also been true that this is considered a weak draft class. Like, it's considered one of the weakest draft classes in years. So there might not be a lot that's going to come out of this. And we know sometimes when there's a weak draft class, sometimes the experts are right. Like, so far, the 2022 QB draft class in the NFL, switch sports for a second, looked relatively weak. And so far through 2 years, those experts are right about that. So if they're right on this one here, this is going to be one of the weaker NBA draft classes in history. So there's not going to be a lot of hype going into it compared to previous years, compared to Wemby last year. But hey, we're still going to talk about it because you never know what might happen. Because even some weak draft classes have had their diamonds in the rough, had their diamonds in a pile of shit, like the 2006 draft class, for the most part, poor draft class, but you had some diamonds in there. You had Kyle Lowry, turned out to be a respectable player. Recent years, not so much, but throughout his career with the Raptors, he was a good player. And you had Brandon Roy for the time he was there before his knees. This ender shortened his career. It's a shame, though, that happened. But you've gotten even that draft class, like even the 2000 draft class, you had Kenyon Martin ended up being a good pickup there. In that one, he was a good player for the Nets. Unfortunately, he probably didn't last long, but he ended up being a good player. LaMarcus Aldridge in that 2006 draft class was a good player. Rudy Gay, hell, JJ Redick was a nice role player. So even the 2006 draft class had some good players. So point I'm being is that even some of the weaker draft classes, and if this year is a weaker draft class, there could still be a few good players that pan out from it. So it's still interesting to talk about, get an idea of who we think could do what, and see what happens. Now, the 2006 draft class, I just named it off, mainly known for role players, but I'm not going to get into that. The point is, even like some of the weaker draft classes, like 2000, you still had Kenyon Martin in there. Let's see, and who else did we have in that 2000 draft class that ended up either being a good or respectable player? You had Kenyon Martin in there. And you did have Haydu Turkoglu in there. You had Jamal Crawford. So even the 2000 draft class had some decent players in there. So it's always worth talking about because even some of the worst draft classes and the weak draft classes, still you could get a few decent gems in there. So maybe this time around we get that. But yeah, we're closing in on about a minute and a half here. So I'll just end it on this right here. It was nice to come up here, talk about sports for a little bit. Talk about basketball since that's what we're mainly at right now. But hey, like it's nice to come on here, pay tribute to Jerry West, talk about the NBA Finals a little bit. So to everyone that tuned in, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're doing this both on the Hardcore Sports Network and my channel, both on the YouTube and the Twitter side. And sometime in the coming days, Mitch Kofsky will be uploading this episode right here of Sports Talk with Nicky Steez to Spotify. So you'll be able to re-listen to this on Spotify in the coming days. You'll definitely want to check that out right there. So thanks to everyone that tuned in. And just remember, NBA Finals Game 4 Saturday. Celtics could put that series away. Or actually, no, wait, tomorrow at 8:30, excuse me. So Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, correction. So tomorrow could be all over. It could either be Celtics win and they take it to Game 5, or Mavs win, take it to Game 5, or the Celtics pull off a sweep. So it's either a Boston sweep or we get a Game 5 and the Mavs keep their hopes alive. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, that's what we mainly got going on right there. Other news in the world right here for anyone that cares, that is a boxing fan. If you are, we got Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis will be back in the ring against Frank Martin. This is expected to be an easy fight for Davis, but hey, if you're a boxing fan, that's something to look forward to on the weekend. But yeah, that's all I got for you tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Nicky Steez signing off. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll catch you next time.